Lizzie Borden took an axe and she gave her mother 40 whacks. But when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. It's an age-old rhyme, and if you're like me, you've heard it many times before. But have you heard the story behind it? Today we're going to be talking about the murders of Abby and Andrew Borden and whether or not we think Lizzie Borden was responsible. Today's case takes place all the way back in 1892 on the 4th of March in Fall River, Massachusetts. The Lizzie Borden murder house sits at 230 2nd Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. On that fateful day in August of 1892, residing in the house was Lizzie Borden herself, Andrew Borden, Abby Borden, Bridget Sullivan, who was the family's maid, who they referred to as Maggie, and I will be referring to as Maggie for the rest of this video, as well as John Morse, which was the brother of Andrew Borden's first wife. Out of town on this day was Emma Borden, which was Lizzie Borden's older sister. Now, Abby Borden, despite being in the girls' lives since they were very young, was not their mother. She was their stepmother. With that all out of the way, let's get into the timeline. 10:40 a.m. on the 4th of August, 1892. Abby Borden leaves the house to go to a doctor's appointment, and Andrew Borden lays down on the couch to take a nap. 10:50 a.m. Lizzie claims that she is outside in the backyard barn, while Maggie, the maid, is also taking a nap in her upstairs bedroom. At 11:15 a.m., Lizzie, who is still in the backyard, claims she heard, quote, a heavy fall and a subdued groaning. Obviously, this made Lizzie very concerned, so she approached the house with caution. She noticed that the screen door was wide open and she goes inside. Now Maggie's upstairs and she's trying to take a nap, but she's not quite asleep yet. Suddenly she hears a scream. Come down quick. Father's dead. Somebody has come in and killed him. It's Lizzie. Maggie ran downstairs only to see Andrew Borden laying on the couch, and his head is pretty much gone. There are no signs of a struggle, as Mr. Borden is believed to have been asleep during the murder. Lizzie turns to Maggie and asks her to go and get the doctor from down the street. Maggie returns with one of the neighbours and the town doctor, and the neighbour asks where Abby is. Lizzie turns to her and says, "Oh, Maggie, I'm almost sure I heard her come in. Go upstairs and see if she's there." So Maggie and the neighbour head upstairs, only to find Mrs. Borden face down in a pool of blood in the guest bedroom. Many people believe that Mrs. Borden was actually home during the murder of Andrew Borden, and she fled upstairs to try and get away, where she was then murdered. Both Abby Borden and Andrew Borden were struck multiple times in the head. This suggests that this was a crime of passion. Now that we've got through the timeline, let's look at the suspects. Suspect number 1 is obviously Lizzie. What was her motive? Money, of course. Mr. Borden was extremely wealthy. His net worth would be worth around $10 million today. Despite this tremendous wealth, Andrew Borden was a penny pincher. He liked to live that frugal life. Maggie later testified in court that the family lived quite frugally, often eating mutton-based meals. When this was read aloud in court, Lizzie smiled. Along with this, 5 years earlier, Lizzie had had a falling out with Mrs. Borden, which led to her going from calling Abby mother to Mrs. Borden. Now this fight was over Andrew purchasing a house for Abby's half-sister, rather than purchasing one for his own daughters. This is brought up due to the fact that after the murders, Lizzie and Emma bought themselves a nice little mansion to live in for the rest of their lives. As the case went on, Lizzie's answers grew inconsistent, as well as one more thing. It was found that Lizzie had burnt a dress that day because it was covered in paint. But when Maggie came down to where Lizzie was, she allegedly was wearing a unstained blue dress. The dress that Lizzie burnt was a different dress entirely. Now, this testimony was thrown away in court, but there was a pharmacist that testified Lizzie had tried to buy poison from him the day before the murders happened. I just think that's a little bit strange for somebody who didn't murder somebody. I don't know. Moving on now to suspect number 2, we've got good old Uncle John Morse. John Morse was the brother of Mr. Borden's first wife and Lizzie and Emma's uncle. If we look back at our timeline, John Morse is unaccounted for from 9 a.m. until noon. His alibi is that he was visiting a sick family member with the town doctor. The same town doctor that was looking over the corpses of Mr. and Mrs. Borden at that time. Not only that, but the body of Mrs. Borden was found in the room that John Morse had stayed in the night before. John Morse also reportedly knew about Mr. Borden's will, and he had a failing livestock business with Mr. Borden. It is believed that he used a meat cleaver to murder the two, and he was a butcher by trade. Suspect number 3 is Maggie. She was sleeping at the time of the murders in the bedroom directly above the guest bedroom, which is the room Mrs. Borden was found in. Which, if somebody's getting brutally murdered in the room below you, you'd think you'd hear something. But she reportedly didn't hear anything until, obviously, she heard Lizzie scream and run downstairs. Now, this one is a bit of a fan theory, and honestly, I kind of love this theory, and that is that Lizzie and Maggie worked together. There are lots and lots of fan theories about Lizzie and Maggie being romantically involved. And the number one fan theory is that Abby actually discovered them being romantically involved with each other, and they killed her to cover it up, and also killed Andrew to make it look like, I guess, a random attack. This would also make sense as to how Lizzie changed so quickly. Those dresses were impossible to get in and out of quickly by yourself. But if you had someone to help you, a maid perhaps, somebody that helps you every day to get dressed, that would make it so much easier. Also, who's the one that said that she was in an unstained dress? Maggie. I honestly think that they covered for each other. But there's no way of knowing, because this case is unsolved. I'd love to know your theories in the comments below. I loved researching this video. This is a case that's near and dear to my heart. I remember watching the Ghost Adventures investigation of the Lizzie Borden house, as well as the BuzzFeed Unsolved. And hopefully one day in the future, maybe I'll even get to investigate it myself. But until then, leave your theories in the comments below, leave a like on the video if you liked the video, and subscribe if you like my face. For more true crime, supernatural stuff, and just anything spooky dooky, check out the rest of my channel and the rest of my videos. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you next time. Bye!